I actually came across it many years ago. I was working fresh out of college at this job, and they were having a bone marrow, a blood drive right outside of the building. And I was always taught, I was raised that you should donate as much as you can towards a cause to help others, right? Whatever that is, whether that's donating money, time, energy, whatever it is that you can, even if it's just one person that you're interacting with. So it was a blood drive, typical thing. You go into the truck, one of those portable ones, the ones that they drive around in. You sit down and they do the deeds, 1, 2, 3, really quick, right? And I was on a lunch break, so I was like, yeah, why not, right? So I'm sitting in the chair, and I remember her asking the woman who was doing the blood draws, like, hey, would you be interested in adding your name to this registry? It was the bone marrow registry, and under be the match, I believe is what it was called initially when it was starting. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Tell me more about it. And she broke it down to me, and I remember her saying, chances are they're not actually going to call you because they have millions of people. A large number of people are on that registry, but they don't actually ever get to call them as much as you think could happen. You got people who are on there and never get called. You have people who go on there and get called once. The rarities that you're called twice or more. And so she made that clear. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. That conversation with her, and she made it seem very simple. It was kind of like a 2-for-1 deal when I was sitting in the van. It was like, let's get your blood drawn. Here's these crackers when you're done and some OJ, and we'll do a swab, just to kind of see if we can even use you, because that's one of the first steps is, they have to check and see once you're, in the registries, then still about a question of health. Are you viable? Are you someone that can be transferred into somebody else's system essentially to help save them? It comes with all that later down the line. So it was like, yeah, it's not like an extra prick in my arm or anything. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? If we could just do it now. So I jumped on it, as a thing of like, maybe not now, maybe in 20 years, who knows? But in case there's an opportunity, why not? And it's funny because at the time, the numbers, the stats around African Americans wasn't something that she shared as a reasoning for me to sign up, which I thought was interesting in retrospect, that wasn't a selling point, if you will. So I thought that was interesting. I take great pride and honor when I have an opportunity to make a change in somebody's life, positively, and to help someone, even on the most minute of scale. It fills me with such joy. So when I heard that, I was extremely happy. I was excited to know that now I'm having the chance to help somebody on such a grand level, in human interaction that you could think of. So when they called me, and said, "Hey, you were selected as the best option," which is huge when you think about it for this process. What these people have to go through, what the patients have to go through to make that decision, to first even go through it when they're like, this is going to be your best option at life. I don't think everybody fully understands how deep that is to be at that crossroad. And now the doctors are telling you that you are the best option out of all these people who've applied, who have, who are part of this registry that we could cycle through. You were the best one to help us get this person as well as we can. And that was big. It's it's weird. So I wasn't sure how it would, really affect me when I first did it, especially the first process being as unintrusive as it was. But when unfortunately that person that I donated to didn't make it, he passed away. Um, he fought through the procedure and he passed away. And they called me when the be the match called the organizers of everything. I was like, hey, because they try to give you like a check-in on you and on your patient, how the recipient is doing. And they were like, we just wanted to tell you that they didn't make it. And they're like, if you need to talk, need, anything to work through this, just let us know. And I was like, no, I'm fine. It was like, oh, it's unfortunate. It's like, no, oh, I think I'll be okay. I actually did eventually break down, and I cried a bit, and I felt a bit of blame, uh, which is interesting because these are all the things that they said when they send you this nice email about some of the things to expect emotionally that I felt. And it made me just realize how important life is when and it's weird to say it because I wasn't the one going through the possible loss of it, but it made me value not just life, but what I could give to someone else to help sustain theirs. Because this person took me as their last resort, and they know it's a gamble. They know it is not a guarantee that this is going to work, but they saw me without knowing me as being their best option. And it touched me to know that they have literally placed their life in my hands and was like, do your best. And I did, because there's not much I could have done, right? Besides donate. And obviously, when you feel that blame, it's coming from a place of just like wishing that you could have done more because there's nothing you could have done. You can't mutate your DNA in the process to make sure it works. That's out of your ability. You're not God. You can just do what you can. But it just made me value life so much more. And it also made me determined to be part of the next procedure. So when I just kept saying, when that next call comes, I'm taking it. There's no way I'm not, you know, because I gotta do it again for this person that didn't make it to try to make sure that this next one does. I talk to people pretty often about it, and people come up to me and they ask me questions about it, and they want to know, of course, is it the surgery? It's always the most intense one, right? Like, oh, do they put you under? They cut you open? Oh man, da da da. Can you die? That's the most realistic question, and I'm honest. So what I tell them is this. I tell them about my experience because that's the only one that I can give them. That's the most accurate. And I say, well, it was a chance to save a life. And for me, a chance to help someone is never passed up. I'm never going to do that. If I can do it without the detriment to myself, it's done. Consider it done. This process, you have the two options, and it's not up to you. It's ultimately up to the doctor which option they're going to go with because it's for what's best for the patient. And so here's option A, and I tell them that because I've been fortunate to go through both. So I can give them experiences from both sides. Here's option A, the blood draw, blah, 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 as I said earlier. And here's option B. And then that one is the surgery. Yes, it is a procedure. Yes, there is a waiver, like any other surgery to be like, hey, in case something happens, we're not responsible. And it's scary. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. If I didn't, if I didn't say that I prayed the night before as they willed me in, as they put the anesthesia in my system, like all that. Yeah, I was terrified, man. I was shaking as I was talking to the nurses, even though I'm laughing it up, but you have to walk in with faith, and chances are you're going to be fine. Chances are nothing's going to happen. You're going to wake up just a little sore, but feeling grateful that you had this opportunity. But I also tell them that it's your choice. At the end of the day, you are in control. It's not like once you sign up, you can't say no, because you can at any moment. I mean, you can even have your name pulled from from the registry if you wish. But why do that is what I always say. Why not give somebody the opportunity to live? And when I tell them about those people that I've helped, so that they understand what it is that you're dealing with. It's not like somebody that just, needs a minor transfusion or a minor change. These are people that are going through life and death scenarios, and they only come to you. They only come to those organizations that are going to help them find someone like you because they have no other options, So once I express that, because fortunately, I believe that you're going to draw people towards you or be friends with people who generally have the same heart. They're just like, oh man, that's awesome. I want to know how to join. And that's generally the reply that I get from people is, where do I sign up? How do I sign up? So so that's been awesome. So that's usually what I say to people who are just for the first time hearing about this and what it is and how it's done.